Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a few projects that I got done for spring with some thrifted items and a few items that I had on hand. Now this took me about 5 days to do all these projects. The first one is this picture frame here that I'm going to be using this warm white color. I know it's already white. I just don't like the color of it. This is a much better white. Now that I have it all painted, I'm going to take some sandpaper and I'm going to do a lot of sanding to this. I want this to look really distressed. Now it was luckily that this was like a dark gray painted first before somebody painted it white. I could tell it was something that somebody else had already tried to change the color of it. So that's pretty nice. I didn't have to repaint it with a darker color underneath. And I'm going to go a little heavy on this, and I'm going to be able to use this picture frame for many, many projects for all the seasons. So I just have to change out what goes inside. Okay, so let's get more of this sanding done. And then I'm going to show you the spring project that I'm going to use inside. Now I have this piece of styrofoam that I'm going to be using. It fits perfectly in here. Just had to cut a little bit off. And you can see I have all my distressing done. And I have lots of the styrofoam, so and the lucky part is it just fits in there perfectly, and I just have to put a little tape on there to hold it. So I'm going to get a lot of use out of this picture frame for all the seasons. So here is the scrapbooking paper that I'm going to use. I am using some Mod Podge to glue it on, and this was a double-sided one, but I really love the one that I'm using on here. Didn't really like that, so that's okay. That's the problem with the double-sided ones. Sometimes you don't want to use it because you like both sides. Okay, I'm just going to squirt a bunch on here. Okay, I'm going to get this brushed on. And once I get all this brushed on, I'm going to be attaching it to the styrofoam. Alright, so let's get it on here. Line it up, smooth it out. Okay, then I'm going to let this dry, and I have another piece of scrapbook paper that I want to put in the middle of this, and another little thing that I got off of a website called Creative Fabrica, which you want to go check out. Now this is some scrapbook paper that I already had. I got it cut to size, and I'm going to glue it on with the Mod Podge again, and I am going to do it on an angle. Let's get some more Mod Podge on here. And of course, you know, you get your Mod Podge from Amazon. You can get it at your craft stores. I think Walmart even has it. You know, it's a plaid product, which I do love the plaid products. A lot of my paint are from plaid. So you might want to check out their website and see what they have too. Because sometimes I have to go there and get some of my paint colors because the stores just don't have them. Alright, let's get this on here. Okay, I'm going to let that dry. And it has dried now. So this is what I printed off of Creative Fabrica, and I did have to cut around all the edges with I did it with the scissors first, and then I got the X-Acto knife and did a little more details. Again, the Mod Podge. You gotta have your Mod Podge. I always like to use the matte in the Mod Podge. Figure I want to line it up, and we are gonna put some more Mod Podge on here. Now, when I printed this off, this is just on regular copy paper. I wanted it to be thin. I didn't want it to be on the thicker paper that you can print it on. You just don't want to put the Mod Podge on top of it because the colors can bleed. Alright, so let's place this on here. And smooth it out. Okay. And I need just a little bit more here, I think, to tack it down. I got a few spots. it just didn't get glued down. And there's a little spot right here. Okay. And it looks like I have a little bit more here to do. Alright, so I'm going to finish getting all the little pieces tacked down. That's the problem with this design. It's just a little too hard to get it all at once. Okay. I think I just about have it. A little bit more right there. Okay. Looks pretty good. And of course you find more all the time. Little pieces that are sticking up on the edges. Okay, so now I want to add some detail on here. And I'm going to take some of my trim, my lace trim here, and I'm just going to hot glue a piece at the top of the pink and white striped. Okay. Just going to put the hot glue on. All right. And I'm going to put the lace down. And then I'm just going to put the smaller piece down at the bottom next to the egg, starting by the egg. And here we go with the hot glue again. Okay. And put that on. All right. Push it down. And I have this nice little yellow button here that I want to put on the side of the jar. I like to put a little bit of three-dimensional things on my projects. Okay, I think that looks really cute. Let's put the frame on it and see how it's looking. And you know this looks cute just as it is, but I'm going to add some more items. I see a lot of empty space here. Maybe some flowers. I got some of these cute flowers here. I think I'm going to put some right there. All right, before we do that, I found this cute little butterfly of my scrapbook paper. I cut it out, and I'm going to Mod Podge him on. I just think it needs a butterfly with all the flowers. We need a cute little butterfly. Let's stick it right here. Okay. And of course, didn't get enough on there. All right. And a little bit more. Okay. Now, I also have a few more buttons. Let's just hot glue a couple more buttons over here. I like these springy colored buttons that I have. And one more. Whoops. All right. Okay, now let's see how this is looking again. I like to just kind of test it out, make sure I got the buttons in the right spot, that they weren't too high. Again, trying to figure out my flowers, where to put them. I think I'm going to put them up here on the top right corner. All right, so I actually have this little pick here, and they have these eggs on here that I decided to cut one in half, and I want to add it next to this other egg. We'll have the little 3D one next to the printed one there. And I did grab some more flowers because I'm trying to figure out what flowers I want to put up there. Okay, so let's put a little bit of some greenery on here first. I like to play with this. All right, let's get some hot glue on here and get it glued. I'm keeping the frame on here so I can figure out exactly where to place the flowers because I don't want them to go underneath the frame, just right up against it. Of course, I can like touch it on the outside too. All right, I kind of like the little yellow flowers. I think I'm going to use this one here. Got a yellow flower. And I want to use a light pink one and a hot pink one. So I got this little hot pink one here. Okay, get this one glued down. And then I'm going to use my light pink one right here. Okay, put that there. So the light pink one has a little pearl in it, so I want to add a few to the other flowers. I'm going to use this really small button that I have for the yellow flower. And then I need a small pearl for the hot pink one, but of course, you know, I can't find mine right now. So you know what you can use? I have these, the pins for your sewing pins that look like a pearl. Just take, you know, just cut it off. I took my wire cutters and I cut it off and I'm gonna hot glue it on there. Okay. There, I think that looks really, really cute. Let's kind of get the spider webs off there. Let's look how it's let's see how it looks right now. Okay. So I'm still thinking I want to put some things in these corners here. It's kind of bugging me. I don't want to put too much. You know, I think I'm going to use these little pieces of paper doily here that I have. Gonna just Mod Podge these on. I have to tell you, Mod Podge is the greatest thing. I'm going to put some on there instead of on the doily. And then, of course, you have to get your little edges down. And just a little bit more of the Mod Podge. And a little bit more. Well, I just don't put enough on there. Okay, so I'm going to lift up the flowers here a little bit because I'm going to put this other one just underneath the flowers. Okay. Just like so. All right. Of course, we've got to add a little bit more in the corner. I'm going to finish this up and I'll show you how it looks. So I went ahead and added the two paper doilies at the bottom corners too, and I really love how this works. All right, now for project number 2. This is a sign that I got from the thrift store. It was actually in a wreath. So, you know, you get the wreath as one project and you get this too. So I'm going to use this light foliage green on here. I'm going to paint this color. I'm going to sand it first. It's a little slick. Okay, so I have this painted, and I actually used that same color, added some white, and then did a little streaking on there. And this is another thing that I printed off from that Creative Fabrica. I have to tell you, I just really love that website. You'll have to go check it out. I will have the link down below. Now you have to, it's not free, but it's really inexpensive to do a subscription because I think you can do it like for $3.99 a month, and it's like an unlimited. I think you can do an unlimited one. I can't remember. I have an unlimited one for a whole year. It was much cheaper to do it that way. So please do go check it out. I'm just going to cut this where I want to put it. And again, I just printed this off of regular copy paper. So I got to get all the white edges off here. Line it up and cut it off. And the other side. Okay. Let's check it out here. I think I want to start it at this end. And then I got to figure out how to tie it in together with this other piece. But before I do that, I'm actually going to use this stamp I have on here with all this like French script on it. Got it from Amazon, so I will have the link down below. I'm going to do this all over the whole board first because I want to have this in the background. And I want it kind of dark, so I'm kind of stamping it a little heavy on here with my ink pad. Make sure I go over it pretty good. And again, I want lots of black on here because I want it to be able to show up on this green. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up over here first, and I'll probably get about 3 passes on here, I'm guessing, if I can get a hold of it here. Okay, so here's how it turned out. Okay, so I'm going to actually do a stencil at the top here. And this is that stencil that I showed previously in a video that I made off of my X tool. I'm going to be using just this white in a gloss. And I'm just going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to try to do it a little heavy. I don't want it super heavy, but I don't want it light either. Just going to keep adding a little bit more paint. All right, so I am going to be getting this finished up, and then we will add the paper design down at the bottom of this sign. Okay, so here is the paper design. I actually cut off some of the bottom part, and I got 3 pieces here that I'm going to try to put together. And it's more of the dragonfly. I want to add one more dragonfly. So again, we're using the Mod Podge. And I have to be very careful with this since this is just on copy paper. I don't want to get any in on the front because I know it will bleed. I've done that before when I've printed stuff off. It only happened because I put too much Mod Podge on. It was okay when I first put some on, but then I kept adding more and it started bleeding. So kind of learned my lesson with that. All right, so let's get this big piece on here. I'm going to start at the right corner on the bottom. And you might notice that I did tear some of that off. I thought it looked really pretty that way. And I didn't get it lined up right. Let's move it over. Okay, smooth it out. Then we need to add the other pieces here. All right, so I got this piece here. I'm going to put the Mod Podge on. I'm going to try to piece it in. I know it's not going to look perfect, but I will be covering up all the little areas that I've pieced together. And of course, we need a little bit more right there. Okay. And more there, of course. There we go. All right, let's get this on there. And line it up. I think about right here will look good. Okay, smooth it down. And then I have this little piece here that I already have some Mod Podge on it, but I'm going to add a little bit more. And it's going to go on the very end. And I have to raise it up just a little bit. Everything's going to get covered up. As you see, I have this long piece of pink that I'm going to put on here. Get that put there. Okay. Yeah. I think I'll just use the whole piece. Okay. Again, we gotta Mod Podge it up. Oops. Of course. It's really skinny, so. All right, let's start over here and get this put down. All right. Okay, maybe. Trying to get this on where it lines up right. A little more difficult with these little skinny pieces. All right. Then I have another little dragonfly that I cut out from it. I think I'll put it right there. Or right there. To cover up that line. No. I think I'm going to put it over here. I think I like it over here better. We'll just put some flowers in the middle. All right, get some Mod Podge on the little dragonfly. Oops. All right. And we will get him placed about right here. I get him lined up correctly. Oops. Gotta move him just a little bit. Didn't quite have them lined up with the pink border down there. All right. Okay. So here's how it's looking so far. And there is that little line right here, so I'm going to put some flowers there. But you know what? Before I do that, I took my ultra-fine black Sharpie and I went around the spring. I was just not liking the way it was a little messy looking. So I think it looks prettier with that. Now we got to fill up this line. We got to get it covered up. And I'm going to use some more of that little bit of greenery, and I like these little flowers here. Let's get the hot glue gun. I'm also going to put some over here too. I thought it would be more even if I did it this way, but just with two different flowers. Just going to hot glue it on. Okay. And I'm going to put this other little bit darker greenery on top of the light green. Okay. And we're going to put some flowers, these little hot pink flowers. They're a little bit different from the other ones over there. Stick those on here. And I got one more of them. I'm going to hot glue it up a little bit higher. About right there. There we go. Okay. Let's push it down a little more. Make sure it's sticking. And now I'm going to take some of this darker greenery, darker greenery. I'm going to put it over here to figure out which way I want to put it. I think I'm going to put it that way. Just got to hot glue it on. About right there. Looks nice. And I got one more piece. I'm going to maybe put about right there. And I want to put those flowers on there. Just kind of seeing how high I want to put the greenery. That one was just not in the right spot. We're just going to move it really quick. Okay, let's test it one more time. Actually, I'm going to cut this into two pieces. I think that will be better. It's a little harsh being perfectly straight. Okay. All right, let's get this on here. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my greenery. All right, one more time. Let's get this glued on. And I think I'll put this little batch down here to cover up some of that stem. Okay. And I think I put this right about right here. Okay, let's get that glued on. Okay. I added a couple little bows down at the bottom of the flowers, but I really love how that turned out. Now this is project number 3. This is exactly how I bought it a few years ago at the Goodwill for $3.99, and I probably got it half off. It's been quite a long time since I bought this. Even $3.99 is a good price. It's really heavy. All right, so I'm going to change the color. It's going to go the warm white that I love to do. And then I'm going to do a brushing over with the hammered iron. And I don't think you can get that hammered iron anymore. It's one of my favorite grays to work with. So we're just going to paint this whole thing with a warm white, and I'm probably going to have to do about 2 coats on here. Okay, let's get this painted. I might have to do 3 coats. All right, and then once this has got all of its coats and it's dry, I am going to rub in with the hammered iron with a damp paper towel. And I have sped this up. So I really wish I could go this fast. I actually sped it up a little bit faster, but it was way too fast for you to watch. So I bumped it down a little bit. But this doesn't really take that long. I think this took me about 5 minutes to do all this, to get this in, because I did go over it, as you can see, back and forth a little bit. And I wipe stuff off as I go, because you don't want to leave it on too long when it's just a damp, wet paint on there. But I do love how this is looking on it. It kind of looks like it's stone. And this is all that I'm going to be doing to this. This is something that you could paint in color, but I think I'm just going to leave it the way it is. That would take so long to do that. Okay, a few more little pieces. I'm trying to get the mama bunny to look a little better. She just doesn't have as much detail as the babies do. Okay, so that's how it turned out. My last project is painting some paper mache eggs. And I have 3 different sizes, and they're all going to be painted with this light foliage green. Okay, I'm going to show you the other 2 sizes here. And then I have some smaller ones that I will be doing. So here is the large one. I have 2 of these that I painted with that green. And I want to dress it up with some lace and some little flowers. Now I love this lace. You can actually get this on Amazon. And of course I will have the link down below if you're interested. It's a great lace to work with. And I want to wrap it around kind of like this, but not all the way. I think I kind of cut it off about right there. But I don't want to use it in this color, this light ivory. I really want it to be green. So I'm going to take these 2 colors, apple green and citron green, and I am going to mix them together because I didn't have the perfect color. And here it is, mixed up. Don't throw out those old spice bottles. They're great for having paint in them to store when you need to mix something. So I'm going to cut this to size, and let's get painting. All right. Let's go ahead and paint it. It's going to probably take a couple coats. Now the trick to this, I just have this on some packing paper. I had a lot of packing paper left over from the move, so I'm just going to use this on here. And once I get it done, I'm going to have to move it off of the paper, otherwise it will stick, and you don't want it to stick. I'm going to keep it on the paper, but I'm actually just going to move it to another spot of the paper. And it's really easy to paint lace. Now normally I would just Mod Podge this on and then paint it. But since I'm using two different colors, I got to have this lace painted first. And you know, I'm actually going to have to be painting a lot of lace for my egg projects. Just about all my lace is going to have to get painted. I'm going to be doing some pink eggs too, but I'm not going to be showing me doing those. Just mainly this big one, and I'll show you a little bit on the smaller two that I showed earlier. Okay, so I'm going to finish up painting this, and I got to let it dry for a while. Then I will just be Mod Podging this onto the egg. Okay, here it is, all painted. Got to use that Mod Podge. All right, so let's get this on here. And I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. I'm not going to put the Mod Podge on the whole thing. That's just a little too messy to work with. So let's just get some on in one little section here. Put a little bit more on here. Trying to get a lot on here, much as possible. So I get this to stick. And I have to tell you, putting lace on like this on an object that's not flat is not the easiest thing to do. All right, I think I'm gonna quit here. And let's get this on. This is like super duper messy to work with because my fingers just have so much Mod Podge on it. And I do have to put Mod Podge on the top of it and more underneath. And I'll just be pressing down with my fingers, trying to get it to stay on. And I have to tell you, it was a project to get this done, but it was worth it, that's for sure. As you can see, it's not really wanting to stick down on this surface. All right, so let me show you how it looks when you get it done and it's dry. It's so nice and pretty. Now I'm going to be doing some flowers. Now the ones that I'm putting on here right now, it's actually some lace that they're all attached to, these white ones, and I will put the link down below because it is from Amazon and it's not too expensive. I think it's about $10 for 3 yards. And you know, you can actually take all these pieces apart because you have 3 pieces to it, actually 4 with a little pearl. So it's very versatile, and it's got more like a fabric flower in it, so you can paint those. And I did do some painting of those for other projects that I'll be showing you. But these are all flowers that I bought that are fabric ones, and then I have some of my floral stems too that I'm using on here. And I'm just going to be using white, light pink, and a hot pink. All right, and this little white flower that I just put on came from the bigger one. That is one of them. Just going to put the light pink there. Going to put a hot pink here. And I did get these 2 light pink flowers. I got them from Joann Fabric. So I think this looks really cute this way. And I'm going to put another one of the white ones down here. Figure out where I want it. Oops, gotta get it up there. Get it glued on. All right. Egg shapes are not that easy to hold and work with. This was a challenge. All right, I think that's all I'm going to put on that side. That's going to be my front actually, but I wanted to put some on the back in case I want to turn it around, or where you have it where you're going to see it 360 in a room. But I'm probably going to put these up on my fireplace, but I'm still going to do it just in case I put them in the kitchen. Then you can have pretties on all the sides. Just trying to figure out where I want to put the rest of the flowers. I think I'm going to put this down here. Or maybe not. How about up here? Yeah, we'll put it up here. And we'll just attach a few of these pink flowers up here. Again, egg shapes are not easy to work with. All right. Just kind of mimic what I did on the other side with the two light pinks and using that little white piece from the lace trim and putting a little light pink on top of it. All right, so then I gotta finish this up with some more flowers. All right, so it's done. I'll show it to you in just a second. This is a tuna can. Do not throw out all your cans in your pantry. And this is called Carousel Pink. And I've got it painted. I'm going to use it as a base for the egg. I'm going to put some lace on here, just hot glue it on, and going to do some ribbon. Now, the reason I'm doing this is I have two different kinds of candlesticks. I have one that I'll show them to you at the end of the video, how it looks. But one candlestick is more like a cup that fits into, but when you have a flat candlestick, an egg is just not going to stay on there because it doesn't have a flat bottom. So this is perfect to put it underneath as a little base to hold it on the candlestick. And I'm just painting this to kind of coordinate, you know, with the hot pink and the green and the white that I'm doing. So let's get this ribbon on here. And I'm just putting the ribbon down the middle. But I always say, don't throw out your cans or your jars. You can always use them for projects. And they make great decor, too, if you get them painted and dress them up. And this is really practical. And like I said, this is just a tuna can. But there are some bigger cans that are, you know, like this, that are not very tall, that would be great for risers. Let's get this on here. Okay. Pick the little spider webs off. All right, so let's put it like that. Set the egg in. And that's how it looks. Isn't that pretty? All right, so here is one of the smaller eggs. This isn't the smallest one. And again, I'm going to be using lace. Don't have any green. I'm going to paint it that same green of the mixture that I have. Just going to wrap this around here, get it cut. Okay. And we're just going to paint it. Now this one did take quite a few coats because it is a brown. And then you know what, I realized I had some in white. That's okay. All right, so here are all the little eggs that I did. This is the pink. I got to get the little spider webs off. I used baby pink for the color. And here's the green. Little ones. I made them the same, but just kind of opposite, as you can see with the decorations. And the cute little ones here. And I had to, and those are, the little flowers are actually from a lace trim that I painted these colors to all coordinate. So let's check everything out. So here it is. I have this in my craft room on a table. So I placed everything together. As you can see it, I was doing a pink and green theme here. And this sign turned out so pretty. Let's go over to these eggs, how pretty they look. I like using the light pink and the hot pink together. And you know, it was a chore to paint all of this lace, but I think it turned out great, that it was definitely worth it. And so here's the, let's go over here real quick. Keep going here, and then this is that picture a little bit close up. think it looks really cute by using a little bit of dimensional items in there. So here is one of the eggs, and this is the candlestick I was telling you about. It fits perfectly in there, but when you use a candlestick like this, this is when that comes in handy. I'll probably be using the other ones. All right. Well, that is it for the video. I hope that you enjoyed it and I could give you some ideas for making your own spring decor. I want to wish everybody a very wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.